Hey everyone. Hello, hello, hello. It is almost 8:30 and we're going to be ready to start in just a few minutes. I have a really cool surprise for you tonight. A special guest that's going to join me this evening for juicy conversation. But the first thing I want to do is just greet all of you. So wherever you are in the world, good evening, good night, good morning, good afternoon. I hope if you're in the morning that you're going to have a wonderful, blessed day. And if you're in the evening or afternoon, listen, continue to have a good day, have a good night. This is Esther again, and I just want to, or I should say, I am Esther, and I just want to come on and say hello. I am relaunching my Festa della Donna Facebook Live conversations, of course, because people were asking for them, looking for them, and saying, "Hey, where you've been?" Well, guys, I had to tell you, I needed to take like a month off. So I think it's been about a month since I've actually been on to do the Facebook Live. But I am back, and I will be back with you every Monday nights at 8:30. We changed the time to about 30 minutes later so I could make sure I'm on the call and, I could be prompt with getting on the call. So I'm super excited to see you. And even if you're not joining us, if you're not live with us, whoever's looking at the replay, I want to again welcome you. And I want to make sure that you know that this is a safe space. And of course, for a juicy conversation, that it's a dialogue and not a monologue. So the goal tonight is really talk about, when you're feeling that way, what is it exactly that you can do? What is it that you can do? And so my special guest I have tonight, there she is. Here she is Miss Nyckki Cervantes. I love saying her last name, guys.
Hey everybody. Hi.
Hey. So guys, I want you to welcome Nyckki. I asked Nyckki to come because Nyckki, we're talking about, the rise since COVID-19. People are feeling isolated, and so that's brought on, there's been a rise in depression, domestic violence, just there's even a rise in homelessness, even child abuse is on the rise. Of course, stress and alcoholism, and of course, one thing just leads to another. In other words, these are not isolated incidents.
Sure.
Correct? One thing leads to another, to another, to another, and it's all connected. And as I said earlier, I said this out all, as COVID is on the rise, this is not a political conversation, because we're not doing that. What we're here is to talk about the well-being of humanity, and how can we help each other, So I invited Nyckki to come and talk because Nyckki is and please correct me, Nyckki, if I'm wrong, she is a licensed social worker. She's now retired. She is highly qualified. She is a personal development coach. She is my sister. How do they say it? My sister from another mister, and she is just a really good friend. And so I thought that she would just have so much to just speak to you about. And hopefully at the end of this conversation, it's not a very conversation. Again, if you have questions, please ask the questions. Ask the questions, right? And because you want to get something out of this, and then maybe at the end we'll give you an assignment. So Nyckki, if you can just kind of begin to speak. Some of the things I said was that depression is on the rise, stress is on the rise, child abuse is on the rise, domestic violence, and all of this is connected, which also leads to alcoholism is on the rise, because people are in and they're stressed out about their economics, and if they're social, they can't get out. They're stressed out about their health and so many things. The racial tension that's in the air, and by the way, even purchasing guns, that's on the rise. You know what I mean? So these are some of the things I just want to speak about, because in these times of uncertainties, we really need to, number one, stay fluid and flexible, but we also need to be able to operate in peace and in love. And we need to still be happy and still have joy. Not too long ago, we heard about the star or the writer from This Is Us committing suicide. So sad. You understand what I mean? And so there's a lot going on. So if you can just, speak to it just a bit, and if I have something to add, you know how I do, right?
Well,
So,
first of all, thank you so much. It really is an honor and a privilege to be here with you. And, what some people may not know is that our relationship was totally a God incident, and we continue to flourish together. And it's always where iron sharpens iron, and every time we talk, you're depositing, I'm depositing, and we grow. And I'm very grateful, for your friendship. I'm grateful for your honesty, not just as a pastor, but a woman, a mother, and a person, right? Because there's so much, and to your point, there's so many roles that we have to fulfill as a human, that sometimes that primary role as a human gets neglected because we're very preoccupied, or we feel a sense of obligation to fulfill that role as that wife, as that husband, as that brother, as that sister, as that daughter, as that son, the auntie, the uncle, as that friend. And that layman, and so as that employee, even if we are at home, we feel an obligation,
right.
And we have this checklist of ourselves, this emotional checklist, this spiritual checklist, mental checklist of where we should be, and we measure it by what we have done for the day. And I would say even more so, I would even be bold enough to say even more so now that we're at home, because all eyes are on us, right? I mean, you can't go nowhere. It's like a mirror, and so the breakdowns that we see that have led to some of the issues that you have talked about, inclining, being on the incline, whether it's depression or mental health or child abuse or substance abuse, it is because now not only just the state of the world, the political stance, but also what's going on in our home. And so one thing I want to speak to is that, while I was working, I'm retired now, and now that I'm at home, and I was already homeschooling my daughter, we just completed the first year of kindergarten. Praise be to God. So she is in summer school. What I will say is I celebrate every parent that had to transition, or even caregiver, whether you're taking care of a loved one that is sick, or an elderly person, due to COVID, or maybe you just had to move in to help, meet ends meet, that it is a new lane. It's a new role. And so I'm grateful that we had already started the transition, because the breakdowns, everyday breakdowns that go into it, maybe they probably would have been neglected if we were out in the community and going to the job and doing these other things.
Yeah.
However, what I'd like to submit and offer you to take a step back and look at those opportunities to really give yourself grace and ease and meet yourself right where you are, right? So even though you're looking up at this mirror and you're saying, oh my God, even if it is, we'll go down the line. So let's just say, substance abuse, and you talk about alcohol, so I'll speak to alcohol, or, and you're like, oh my God, I just want to drink, it's real, right? It's
very real.
Whether it's your finances, whether it's the kids, whether it's your spouse, your partner, your roommate, whatever your situation is, because you're there, right? You can't go nowhere, but, to the other room, that you take a step back and find out what is the reason, that's causing you to reach for that, and with depression, obviously, if you do have depression, you're suffering from depression, then you definitely want to go and get professional help and be evaluated. Excuse me, I shouldn't say suffer. I would say that if you feel like, what, I need more support, then I would say go get that support. No shame, no, not feeling any condemnation about yourself, because depression and mental health is real. And I think that all of us have to take into account that right now it's okay if you're depressed.
Oh, yeah.
I think that there would be something wrong if you weren't feeling some type of emotional distress, right? And so, it's same with finances, whatever the situation is. So for us with homeschool, I'll speak to that. Things have shifted because we could go out and go to a museum, or we could go to the beach or go to the zoo. And so it broke up the day, right? So education wasn't so like linear, like we have to do this, and this. And I could find ways to weave in math and history and cooking, like fun things outside of the home. So what I would say now is that I have been stretched because, let's be honest, and I'm going to be honest, having a 6-year-old all the time, and I'm her only playmate anyways, and I'm here. This is it, right? So I had to get really, really creative with myself and my husband to figure out what could we do even in those breakdowns. And so one of the things, these are like probably the top 3 things I would say. First of all, allow yourself grace and ease.
Yeah.
Right. Throw out the list of who you should be and why you haven't measured up to this imaginary list. Number 1. And forgive yourself for however you reacted, because it's normal. Okay. Second of all is a support system. So whatever that means your ritual in the morning, whether you pray, you meditate, take that time for yourself. I like to drink tea. I like to read my Bible. I like to just get centered. Esther introduced me to breathing exercises. Gabby's now doing them. And so, yes. So I like to play with Nyckki and just set the tone, light a candle. The next thing is open up your mind to the possibility of doing things different, right? So what does that look like? No, we can't go to an actual museum or zoo, but we can go on a virtual trip, right?
Say that again, Nyckki. Open up your mind to the possibility of doing something different.
Right, doing something different. And what we found is that myself, my husband, we've grown at an exceeded rate, right? So I'll give you an example. So today I woke up and I just felt like, this is going to be an easy day. So I went out in the morning. Gabby rode her bike. That's PE. Right. So she rode her bike. And after she rode her, I had Nyckki playing. It gave me a chance to listen to my devotion. And I just watched her. I watched her ride her bike and sing. And that was the connection. Right. And then after that, we did arts and crafts. And I wasn't rigid about, oh, my God, it's not like this or it's not like that. And I think oftentimes we feel like that. If it doesn't fit into someone's box or circle or rectangle or however you want to categorize it, then it's wrong. No, I'm an octagon. You can't find me. Okay, so I think that we have to allow ourselves the possibility of just trying something new. And so as I was sitting there, I noticed that I had so much peace. I didn't have an imaginary list of all the things that she should have done. We sat down, she sat next to me, we read a highlight. That was her reading. And it was fun. And she enjoyed it. You understand what I'm saying? And so that's how our day went, and we did some math, but we did it in a different way. And so that's what I would submit, to anyone. In this season, we have to get really creative. And it allowed me to tap into my inner child. So I was able to do some things today that I've been wanting to do, or, maybe I didn't have time to do. So those are my thoughts about how we can all adjust to the COVID experience.
So I love what you said about just opening up your mind to the possibility of doing new things. But I just want to, before I comment on that, I want to read a couple of the comments. Let's see. Zena said self-care is monumental. Juliet said you need time for yourself. So true. David said, I actually drink a lot, and he said, I want to stop. Right. Yeah, that's good. So can you speak to that for a second, Nyckki?
Absolutely. So David, first of all, I just want you to know, and I know sometimes we say, because I'm working on my health and wellness. Okay. Yeah. So I am working to release these extra pounds that I have used to stay safe, because it doesn't serve me anymore. So I know when I say this word celebrate, it may sound different. And our coach, one of our coaches, Matt, he actually told me this. He's like, I know it may sound like, what do you mean celebrate? But I want to honor you because you spoke up. Here we are on a public, platform, and you had the confidence and the courage and within your own self, and you found this safe space to just say, you know what, this is my issue with drinking and I need help. I want help.
Yeah.
right? So the first thing is funny because I was actually listening to another one of our coach earlier, Coach Slime. So if I could give you this exercise and you just see if it lands, you're not obligated to do it, but just see if it lands, David. So what he was saying today is that sometimes we feel like we should have or need to, right? So when you say, I want you just to do a body check. When you think of the word should, have, or need to, how does that set in your spirit, right? So he was saying how when we say those things, we should say, who said that, right? So if you say, I should stop drinking, right? Or I have to, or I need to, where's the source? Where's that judgment coming from, right? And then challenge it. So then change the language to I want to stop drinking,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
when you change the language, it's a shift in your mind and in your
Totally.
body, right?
Yeah.
And so what he said is that want is an emotional word, right? So if you use want, then you can change your behavior and your thought behind the task because it gets you in your heart
Yeah.
to really start processing and thinking, wait a minute, why do I drink? Right? Because the issue is really not drinking, right? That is a byproduct of whatever the hurt or pain is, right? So if you can look at that and say, okay, so the pain I have, what is the pain point, right? So I'm going to use an example with my weight. So the pain point for my weight was, see, I just changed the language, I used it to make me feel safe, right? And so now I'm in a space where I said, okay, that no longer serves me. So now I can release the weight because it no longer serves me, right? So think about it like that. And so if you think about the power of that word, then you know that it's a decision. So now you change it to, I want to stop drinking. And then think about it like, what are the reasons why I won't? Right? So if you think about that, why you won't stop drinking, then it becomes a decision. Right? So then again, you have the opportunity to check in with yourself, not in shame, not in judgment, but in love and humility to say, what is the reason why? Right? So again, I'll go back to my example about the weight.
Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry, Nyckki, 1 sec. So while Nyckki is speaking to David, y'all know the rules that you speak to one, you're speaking to everybody because David isn't alone. He's the one that's going to say, hey, it's me. But many of us have those same issues. And if it's not that, it could be weight. It could be, food. There's several things. And so what Nyckki is doing right here is giving you tools that's for anything. It could be for drinking. It could be for weight release, right? It could be for anything. So I just wanted to say that, Nick, as you're going through it. That's excellent.
Absolutely.
Miriam is saying that's good. That's good.
Absolutely. So it could be shopping. Let's say you have an addiction to shopping or gambling. Right. Or gambling. Like they say, same kind of candy bar for everybody. Okay. So maybe yours is not food. Maybe you don't need to release weight. Maybe you don't have problem drinking. But maybe your situation is, isolating. Maybe it's smoking, maybe it's shopping, maybe you are depressed.
Yeah.
Right. So it doesn't have to be, okay, well that don't apply to me because that's that one category. And so I thank you for saying that, sis, because that's a valid point. So once can't is as a condition and see how that lands. So I just want you to just think about it. Say the sentence to yourself wherever you are right now, whatever your thing is, right? So when I say I can't release the weight that no longer serves me, right? I'm using myself as an example.
That's good.
And then you're using, it makes me feel helpless. It makes me feel hopeless. It makes me feel judgy. It makes me feel shame. I don't know, judgy's a word, okay? But that's how it makes me feel. So check in with yourself. But if I say I won't, which is a decision, then I have to process, well, what does that mean? Maybe I'm afraid, right? And that's okay too. But once I say it out loud, then I give it no power. So let's get to the homework. So the homework you can do is name 3 to 5 things that you've been saying that you should, you have, or you need to. So I'm gonna say it again, Esther, if you could type it out, please.
That's what I'm doing.
So 3 to 5 things that you've been saying to yourself, I should, have to, or need to. whichever phrase resonates with you. So if it's need to, then say those 3 things. I need to start my business. I need to start my website. I need to write my book. I need to get more, I need to stop procrastinating, whatever the thing is, right? So then the next one, and then check in with yourself. Take a step back and then say those sentences out loud and see how you feel, right? Or even if it's, I need to not be depressed, right? Think about it like that. Then the next thing, this is the second part of the homework, says 3 to 5 things that you've been saying that you can't that you can't do. And then write those same sentences and say, I won't do them. So for me, the 3 things I did, and I'm going to do my homework. It is, I can't release the extra weight that doesn't serve me. I can't have a lucrative coaching business. I'm getting honest with you. I'm telling you. And then I can't have a successful business. I did that. It's broad because there's other components to my business, but that's what I said. And then I'm going to write out what I won't do and really get in my heart and see why I won't do it. So I hope those tools were good and they gave you insight on how you can really get in your heart to move forward. Because if we don't change our mind, the Word of God tells us that we are transformed by the renewing of our mind, and we have to renew our mind and get out of this mindset of and get to the source. Was it your parents? Was it religion that told you? Not relationship with God, but a religion. Was it somebody at school, or was it yourself? Where are these negative thoughts coming from?
Yeah, who told you? Yeah. Oh, I mean, it helps a lot. And we're getting really great comments. DeQuesta said, get to the root. Yes, I want to. Zena says, I need to finish my videos, restructure my living room, and clear my garage. Is that how you say it? Juliet said, very good. And DeQuesta said, renew our minds. Yep, renewing of the minds and changing how you're saying things. One of my favorite pieces is the part about weight. We often say that we need to lose weight, but anything that you lose, you can find again, right? So changing the wording to that and saying, you know what, I need to release weight. You know what I mean? I need to, and so what is it that you need to release?
Remember, we're not saying need, we're going to take out and say, I won't.
I won't. Yeah.
Right. I won't. So to the sister that wrote the 3 sentences, thank you so much for being bold enough. Who was that, Esther, that wrote out?
That was Zena.
Zena. Oh, Zena.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know who Zena is. Okay. So now, sis, write what you won't do. Replace I can't and put I won't, and see how energetically how that feels in your spirit. Like take a temperature, take a spirit temperature gauge and see how that feels now that you're rewriting it, and see how that feels and let us know.
Yeah. That's good. Good, great comments, and good advice that you can take in doing the homework and making sure that that you're writing in there what is it what you won't.
Right. So the first one is 3 things of I should, I have to, or I need to, right? Okay. So I should create my laptop. I should create my website. I have to finish this book. I need to release the weight, right? You're going to do that first, and then check in energetically with yourself, your mind, body, and spirit of how those words land, and even in your heart, and then go back and then write the 3 to 5 things, and then write I want to. Right? I want to finish my book.
Yeah.
I want to launch my website. Right? And then the second part of that is I can't. Right? So 3 sentences of things that you've said I can't. Check in with yourself energetically. Right? And then go back and then write I won't. The same sentences.
So the same thing, and so we're doing the last part is saying 3 to 5, I can't. Is that right?
I can't, and then rewrite them, I won't. Right. So the first, does that make sense?
It makes sense to me. Everybody type in chat. Is it making sense to you? Let us know. Let us know if it's making sense.
So 3 sentences, you write whichever one resonated. I should, I should, I have to, or I need to.
Yeah.
You're going to rewrite them, I want to.
Yeah.
And then the second part of that, the same 3 to 5, or you have others, you know,
Yeah.
that's fine. But 3 to 5, I can't. And then
So-
rewrite them as I want. Mhm.
So Valerie said it makes sense. Zena rewrote it. She said, I won't leave my videos incomplete. I won't be lazy about my living. Hold on. And then it's moving really fast. I won't delay in clearing my garage. Right?
All right, Zena,
Right.
get it.
And David said, he said, I lost 19 pounds in 6 days. No drinking, just water. Threw up every hour for 6 days. So let's just say David said, we're going to change it and said, look, I released the weight. Because
Right.
David, man, you stay on a path of watching and watching even the alcohol intake, you're going to continue to release the weight. Yes?
Amen. Yes.
This is great. This is great conversation. I'm proud of you, Zena. DeQuesta said, yeah, get it, Zena. So one of the things that also, as you've got your homework to do, and you know, when you're doing it, you want to do it every day until you see that there's a shift in how you're thinking, because when your mindset begins to shift, or when your mindset is shift, when your mindset is renewed, guess what happens? It gets all the way down into the heart. When it gets down into the heart, then it gets into your body, and then you begin to do those things, right? Because we speak those things, and that's why there's got to be a mindset shift, right? Because we have to speak those things. I think that this is a time, and what I've learned, Nyckki, during COVID-19 and the time, you know, of quarantine and all of that, that there's just some things that that I don't speak enough. So there is a shift. You know, there's just some things that we're just willing to say, well, that's just how it is. No, that is not how it is.
Yes.
You know, the bottom line is scripture says that we have the power. You know, Zena says, as a man thinks. Yes, as a man thinks in his heart, that's exactly who he is. Well, I've made a decision of how I'm going to think myself. And even sometimes when I have those days that I'm not thinking that great, immediately, you know, one of the things I say, when you have those days, everyone, that you're just not feeling that great, and you see that your thinking is kind of shifting, going down south somewhere, then call someone and say, hey, let's talk. Call someone who you know is positive, who you know is has a mindset shift, who you know is going to pick you up and not get with you and say, oh yeah, you know. No, call someone, because we all, especially in these times, we need to have that person that's accountable, right, to us. And we need to be accountable to each other, to where we can lift each other up and say, no, sis, you've got this. No, brother, you've got this. You can do this, right? Because I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Yes.
You can do it as well. So Valerie said, I use the term release the weight rather than lose the weight. Yes, right.
Yes,
use the term release the weight, because anything you lose, you will find. Today I lost my earring. I'm honestly hoping that I do find it, because I really liked them, you know. I didn't, you know. So in other words, I say that because there's a difference. There is a difference. It's called a lifeline. It is a lifeline. That's right, DeQuesta. You have a lifeline that you call. I'm reading the comments about the supports. Yes, to the support system. Zena says, Georgia says, positive vibes. We all need that. And then Zena says, our words create a powerful energy field. Our words give life. And just let me bring in the scripture one more time, y'all. The scripture says, is it in Proverbs, that we have a decision. We can speak life or we can speak death. And what we speak, we eat the fruit of what we speak. Yeah. So we have to make, you see, God always leaves us in choice. He does. He leaves us in choice. He never makes a decision for us. He says, no, you make the decision. Hey, Nyckki, you can speak life or you can speak death. What do you want to speak today? Yeah. And whatever decision, however you decide to speak, that is exactly what you're going to eat the fruit of. So if I'm always speaking negative or down or anything, that's the fruit I'm going to eat. Right? And so that's why we continually have to speak life, not into ourselves first, and then we can speak life out to others. Right? Yeah. And so if you're looking, and as Nyckki has given you those words, that home exercise for you to do, begin to look at what really listen to what you're saying. Yeah. And what you're speaking, because what she's teaching you or what she just shared with you is something that transforms your mind and then allows your mouth to speak life. Yeah. Right? In every area. So you eat the words that you speak. Zena said, yes, yeah. And so you have to watch really what you speak. So I just want to just share 3 other things with you, if that's okay, as we prepare to leave, because we've been on a little longer than I thought, but this has really been juicy. If you guys show Nyckki some love, and, as we prepare to leave. But one of the things, as you're in this time and as you're beginning to do, as you're beginning to do can we call it home play? Because I really like how Sean calls it home play. So our coach, Nyckki, and I have the same coach, Sean Smith. Coach Kids, yes. Several coaches together, which has just been phenomenal. But Sean says home play, Coach Sean, home play. And so I kind of like that, because that's changing the word. Because sometimes you think homework, you're like, homework? So this is home play, guys. Every day I want you to practice. David, every day I want you to begin to speak life into yourself and say, I want to stop drinking. What is it, David, that you want to take place in your life? Zena, Miriam, DeQuesta, Juliet, Madison, and so many others that's on the call. What is it that you want to happen in your life? Begin to speak that and use those words that Nyckki has given you in the home play. Also, I want you to think about, if you're still feeling like, if you're a person that likes to socialize, listen, get on Zoom, get on FaceTime, and call your loved one, call that girlfriend, call that, your whoever it is, and talk to them and say, how are you doing? So listen, again, this is where you're opening up your mind to possibilities of what can happen during this time of COVID-19. So make that FaceTime call, right? Get on Zoom. If you don't know how to figure it out, it's real easy, right? Go to Google, go to YouTube. How do you work Zoom? Go to YouTube and figure that out. And then another thing that you can do, number 2, is that you can also help others. Even with this exercise, right, that we have just did, that Nyckki has just given us and did a beautiful job of showing us the example, you can help others just with that. If you've got someone that, that you say, man, they're always, begin to say, hey, let's change how you speak that. Let's begin to speak life. And so you can help them with that, but helping others many times also, when we help someone else with the words that we speak, with anything at all, it just helps us to feel better about who we are. And then, guys, I want you to be very present, right? Very, very present. Very, very present. I want you to be. And with that, begin to do some mindfulness exercise, which takes you into being very present. Begin to meditate more. And as you meditate, you'll be very in tune with the greater one that lives inside of you. You'll be very in tune with God. And then you'll be very in tune with yourself and with your body. And believe it or not, your body will speak to you, i.e. your body will tell you when you're tired. Your body will tell you when you need to rest. Your body will tell you when you've overdid something or you need to do more. So get into some mindfulness exercise where you can become very present, and then begin to meditate. I love, for example, to meditate on the Word of God. I speak those scriptures to myself, and I put them into the atmosphere, because I know one of I've got several favorite scriptures, but that my tongue is the pen of a ready writer, right? I know that. And so I create that. Right. And so that's what I just want to encourage you guys. Zena said being very present is the best place to connect with God. It is. Man, that's when you can hear him. And so, guys, as we're here together, we want to just lift each other up in prayer, in just, speaking life. David, we're going to be praying for you. Keep us posted and let us know how you're doing. But we want you to begin to speak life. And so, and everyone that's on this call and those who will be listening to it, whether it's tomorrow, you'll be listening to the replay. You have a comment, do replay and and put a comment there. We are about the purpose of our Monday nights, 8:30 p.m. Facebook Live call is really to encourage and to build up and to empower. Okay, so I want y'all to know that we're not here to talk about politics, right? We're not here to talk about this is my religion. That's your no. We're not here for all of that. What we are here for is to share the love of God for all humanity, right? For humanity, and to empower and to give you tools that helps to leverage you and to take, whether it's in business, right? And in every other area of your life. That's the purpose of it. So again, if there's anything that you would like to talk, you would like to discuss, please reach out to us and let us know. And, Zena and DeQuesta, Nyckki, they're on the call. And I think that at some point I need to reach out to them so they could be a guest as well. What do you think, Nyckki?
Amen. The two wise women of God that love you. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And then there are other people on the call. I'm not going to mention their names because I know if I mention their names out loud, they'll run the other way. But, and Zena might too, but I have her phone number.
Let me tell you, Zena got a story for real. Her book,
she does.
No, this is not, I know she's so humble, but I'm sorry. Her book is amazing. And I read her book in about 2 hours. And it helped me so much to understand my mother, because her life, some of her life experiences are very parallel. And she's such a humble person. I had opportunity to see her speak at a speaking engagement, and such a transparent, beautiful person, shares her journey. And yes, so Zena, absolutely. She's talking about, look, I'm looking at the comments while I'm talking to you too, Zena. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, you should go ahead and put your book in.
Put your book in there. It's a good book. By the way, Nyckki has a book as well. That's an awesome book. And so please, Nyckki, put your book information in there as well. And DeQuesta is joining us from the Bahamas, and DeQuesta does a lot of empowerment for women. So we're going to have DeQuesta on as well at some point. So guys, we're here to upbuild and share, because we want everyone to live that whole life abundance, right? Whole life abundance. Yes, Valerie, I will, we can get you the name of the book, both Nyckki's and Zena's book, right? Make sure, and y'all don't forget about me. I got my book too, but I know many of y'all know. See, it's right behind you. But anyway, so so make sure. Did you put yours in there? Zena, did you put your information for your book in there, please? Right? And you guys have Nyckki, where's MissNyckki.com, www.
And as you're going to put your information, because the why, even to this discussion, your book is very relevant. So you can go ahead and type in your information, because a lot of times, I'm looking at the comments that everybody is saying, and that we just really want to get to the why.
Yeah, we do. We want to get to the why.
We do. So you can get all the tools that you need and get to the why and grow. There it is. Life in the fast lane. I thought it was life in the fast lane, but I wanted to make sure.
A journey back to myself. So excellent. And so guys, we just, we thank you so much. David said, I'm crying now. Listen, David, we all just believe that your life has been touched, and that there's just going to be the change that you want to see in your life. Right. And so I'm super excited. I'm super excited for the possibilities for all of us. That's it. We love all of you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to have some other guests on there. So listen, you say, you want something talked about, shared, please join us. And Zena's saying, David, you are not alone. You are definitely not alone. You are not alone, not at all. Right. So guys, let's let's give David some love in the chat as we prepare to head on out. Thank you again. Make sure that you get Nick. Zena, is your book on Amazon, or is there a website? So my book, guys, Why Stepping Into Purpose, is on Amazon, and you could also get it on my website, www.fddwomen.com. Priscilla Wilkerson said thank you. Right? You are so welcome. Thank you for joining us. Right? Zena, we're going to take a second so you could do the website, or is it on Amazon? I keep forgetting, like, Facebook takes a few minutes, guys. So yeah. Yes, it's on Amazon. So you guys have the name. It is on Amazon. Again, thank you guys very much. Love you. Have a wonderful evening, and I will see you next time on Facebook Live at 8:30 p.m. on the Festa Della Donna homepage. If you not, tell your friends, tell your buddies, tell your partners, tell everybody, and go and like that page, and come on and join us for juicy, dynamic, boom, 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 courageous, delicious conversations. Talk to you later. Zena's also put her website address in there. Take care, everyone. God bless. Thank you, Miss Nyckki. Love you.
My pleasure. Love you.